Hey y'all, and Happy New Year. I am excited for a fresh start for 2022. 2020 was rough. 2021 was real hard. So I'm hoping 2022 will be a little bit easier. Don't get me wrong, lots of wonderful things happened as well. But y'all know, everybody knows what I'm talking about because everybody is going through something. So anyway, today is New Year's Day for this particular film, and this evening we are going to have a 50-degree drop. So currently I'm sitting outside, t-shirt, no big deal. It's in the 70s, and tonight the overnight low is going to be 22 degrees. Yeah, so not just freezing, but really cold for this area. So what I want to do is take you guys through a quick tour of the garden, show you guys how I'm going to be doing some winter prep, and then once all the cold comes through, I'm going to come back and finish this video and show you what the garden looks like after a freeze comes through, just so you can see what made it and what didn't. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and make sure you check me out on TikTok. Okay, so I'm in the front garden and we are done with Christmas. We have put all Christmas away. I was just using the blower to blow off the porch, get it all straightened up. Any kind of remnants of houseplants that I still had out here because it was so warm have all gone inside. The planters right here are looking beautiful still. I was just over here deadheading some of the, I almost said clematis, cyclamen. Deadheading some of the cyclamen. Everything's looking really happy. The kale is happy. You see all of the diamond frost euphorbia, which is what I am trying to save. So I am going to be wrapping this portion up to see if I can save it from these temps. If not, well, I'll have to figure out another plan. This planter looks beautiful as well. Let me walk you around to the front. I still have a lot blooming right now, which is insane because, you know, it's end of December, beginning of January, and I still have a lot going. One of the big things I'll do for preparing for really cold weather is I will be watering my garden really well. Thankfully, we had a rainstorm last night. All of these pots are going to get watered thoroughly. So that's a better situation for plants. You want them to have damp ground to be in when a frost comes through. That'll be better for them. I have a whole lot of hellebore just coming along. Absolutely beautiful. This plant is gorgeous. I just recently got another one in the ground and looks like I got a little bloom coming, so that's exciting. I might go ahead and cover the hellebore as well, just so they don't get damaged by this weather. I have so many beautiful sweet blooms coming about over here. Absolutely gorgeous. Very happy with how the hellebore is doing this year. All this dianthus will do just fine during the cold weather. I'm not worried about that. All of this fern right here, maidenhair fern, will most likely die back, and that's typical. Now over here, I just planted this alyssum. Yeah, is that right? Alyssum. Several of y'all were trying to help me spell it phonetically so that I could pronounce it correctly. So alyssum, and I am going to go ahead and cover this. It's recently planted, so I'm not sure how well it's going to do in this freeze. So I'd like to just go ahead and plant it so I don't have to replant it later. I have a lot of weeds going on back here, so I'm really hoping the frost will take out a lot of those weeds and help me out a little bit. We'll see. I have a lot of things that need to be trimmed back that I just haven't gotten to, but perhaps after the freeze, I'll go take care of a lot of that. This dianthus, remember, this is all the dianthus. Oh, hey, this is all the dianthus that I got from a Walmart, and I think it has not done as well because if y'all remember, I had it across the whole front of the garden over here, and it just has not held together as well as the rest of my dianthus over the years, so we might be pulling this up. Okay, so I already lost dahlias in the last freeze. Right here is, I think it's Playing the Blues salvia. It was ready to come out after the last freeze. It is not a perennial, but it keeps coming back year after year, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. All of the lantana got hit by the last freeze and then started coming back. Look at that, y'all. So this will be taken to the ground after this next really hard freeze. It should take out the butterfly bush right here. I am going to be harvesting a lot today, so I'm going to be harvesting all of these black tip wheat for some arrangements. I still have all of this Snow Maiden scabiosa. This is all going to get harvested today as well. You can see the freeze already hit some of my lambs ear over here. It really needs to be cut back this season. We'll see how that goes. You got a golf cart coming by real quick. My Mexican heather got hit by the last freeze, at least the top of it did. This next freeze should take it completely out. That should be gone. All of these are Potomac mix snapdragons, and they're doing beautifully right now. I'm going to have a lot of buds, and I think that they should do great in the freeze as well. I am really thinking about transplanting all of these to the back, but definitely not something I'm willing to deal with at this moment. I'm going to go ahead and harvest all of these straw flowers today. I was watching the rose parade this morning and they kept saying straw flower, straw flower, straw flower. So I guess they were utilizing a lot of straw flowers on the rose parade floats, which is pretty cool. I have a whole lot of hardy annuals right here. Pink status, apricot status, foxgloves, aster mixtures, straw flowers. Those are all going to get covered up today. I'm just going to do a sheet over them, or one of my frost cloths over them. I think that they would be fine. However, since I did all of these from seed, I want to ensure that they're okay. So I'm willing to put in the extra effort to go ahead and cover them up. I do have, I think these are sunflowers trying to come up already. I'm not going to be covering this portion at all. I am going to be harvesting a whole bunch of these daisies. These are Shasta daisies. They look really, really good. I'm actually not a fan of Shasta daisies. I am contemplating pulling all these up in the spring, but we'll see what I end up deciding on. So I'll deal with those today. Rosemary, I'm not going to cover. It survived our Snowmageddon last year, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm not stressed about that. Over here is a whole bunch of yarrow, and I planted several new varieties this year. It did great in the freezes last year. See, I have weeds too, y'all. Look at that. Get that up. Here's another one over here. Since we had rain last night, everything will come up really easily. So all the yarrow will be fine, smoke bush will be fine, and the oak leaf hydrangea will be fine. So that's a tour of the side of the garden, and I'll show you what it looks like once I prep it for the weather. Okay, we are here in the backyard, and I am going to be constructing a pseudo hoop house over this area. You'll see a little bit in today's video, and then there'll be a more detailed video later on that'll show you exactly how I created it. It looks like my red romaine is trying to bolt, which is crazy. That'll tell you how warm it has been. So I'll probably try to break these off where it's trying to flower, because I don't want that. I want it to keep growing a lettuce for me. So, but this is all snapdragons. All of this will be under a hoop house. Over here, I'm not going to be covering anything over here, but I am going to go ahead and harvest some phlox that I have here and some dianthus, just so I can use that for some last minute arrangements, because that will be gone after tomorrow. Succulents are going to get put up under the porch. Cacti over here are already under the porch, so I'm not stressed about them. Over here, I've been dealing a lot with powdery mildew on a whole bunch of these hydrangeas. I do expect that all these periwinkles will perish in the freeze tonight, but I'm just going to let this all do its thing. I'll water it in really well. I'm going to harvest the rest of the green tomatoes on here because I'm not trying to save these tomatoes. They will bite the dust after the frost. And then I will be harvesting a bunch of these. These are yellow Potomac snapdragons. I'll be harvesting a bunch of these as the flowers won't do well, but the plants will be fine in the frost. I have a whole bunch of, look at my bells of Ireland, y'all. I'm going to throw up on the screen, like just not even like 4 to 6 weeks ago. These were tiny little seedlings. They're doing really well, but they are hardy annual. So I think I'm going to lightly cover them just so that I can keep them going throughout the season, because they're just looking beautiful right now. I do have a whole lot of bulbs coming up, including iris. I have a whole lot of, these are Dara seedlings coming up. over here. I'm not sure what these seedlings are, but we'll soon find out. These are those mystery bulbs that I still can't figure out. They're beautiful, but I'm sure that they won't make it through the frost. I'm laughing at all the Dara outside. I wish all these, I might transplant these into the garden because I loved having Dara this last year. But yeah, all the Dara seedlings are starting to come up as well. I think that this sedum right here will do just fine. I'm not worried about that. Ligustrum bushes look good. I do expect to lose all of the purple lantana across the back, which is fine. I will replant it for next season. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on some work and show you all what I'm doing. Okay, I got a pretty good haul. I'll make an arrangement out of this. Put that up on video for you guys. It's not my usual color combination, but I love like the reds and the yellows and oranges and whites and a little bit of purple. Should be pretty. Okay, now I'm gonna start watering everything really heavily so that the water can help keep the roots from freezing. Okay, so since I started this video earlier this morning, the temperature is now dropped by definitely at least 20 degrees. Definitely needed to go ahead and put some long sleeves on. And we are gonna be working on a hoop house back here in the back. I'm gonna have some quick video on it and then I'll have a more thorough video on it later on. But let me show you how that process goes. Okay, I have 5 half-inch PVC poles. I believe these are 10 feet each. I have 5 of these that are going to be going across here. And then I have plastic sheeting. This is 35 milliliter, 3.5 mil, and 10 foot by 25 foot sections. The bigger the mill, the heavier the plastic and the warmer it will keep. This is just what was available. I am not trying to keep like a tropical atmosphere in my hoop house. I am just trying to keep things from dying because of extreme freezes. So truthfully, only when it freezes will this be covered up, and the rest of the time it will be opened up to the elements. I'm also going to be utilizing zip ties to be securing everything, but let me show you how that goes. Okay, in the back it's pretty windy. I've already got the hoop house ready to go. It is secure. And then I covered up the bells of Ireland over there on that side. They might be more cold hardy than I think, but I really want to make sure they're okay since it is getting down to 22. All right, let's head to the front. Okay, we ended up doing this area right here, which is a bunch of my hardy annuals. And then over this tray, I say hi, Jeff. Over here, I ended up covering up the alyssum right there, just because it's newly planted, but it should do fine with cold. But since it's newly planted, I went ahead and did it. And then, not attractive, but I covered up the diamond frost euphorbia. So let's see what happens with that. Okay, it's cold. It's getting colder. My ears are frozen, but so the next part of this video is going to be the next day or two, and I'm going to show you how everything did, what everything looks like after a freeze. This is a little bit of a deeper freeze for our area. We're going to get down to the low 20s. We've already had some light freezes come through. My garden's done fine. My garden's not really used to like a really, really low temperature. So, you know, spending some time covering up all these, I don't mind doing this. The average gardener might not want to, and that's totally fine. There's just some things that I would like to keep fresh. So let's see how it goes tonight. Okay. So we had 2 nights of freezes, 2 nights of getting down into the 20s, wind chills in the teens on the first day, but not on the second day. So I'm gonna go ahead and uncover everything and then show you guys what everything looks like. Okay, everything under the hoop house looks like it did really good. Snapdragons all look good. I will say I do think that the red romaine didn't do as good, but that's not a big deal. It was an experiment anyway. Lisianthus, everything looks good over here, so that's great. You can definitely see over here, lemon balm is gone. Let me get out of y'all's shadow. Lemon balm is gone. A lot of the celosia that was here is gone. Definitely all put down by the freeze. These were some lilies over here that had tried to start coming up because of all the warm weather. Those are all gone. Over here, I left my succulents out here, which perhaps wasn't the best choice. Some of them are mushy and done, and yeah, don't look good, but others do look good. So I don't know why some did well and some didn't. So anyway, we'll see if those perk back up at all. Okay, all the impatiens bit the dust, and we knew that was coming. And all of the hydrangeas that are over here, which that's okay. They already had some beginning stuff coming back down. I knew all this, it was time for all this to go. All the cacti look just fine over here. They did fine outside as well. Let's go this way. Of course, all the tomatoes are gone, and we harvested all the rest of the green ones yesterday. Then over here, snapdragons over here don't look as great. However, I think it's just the long stem parts. I think the plant down here is probably fine. I just need to probably trim the plant. And then I think those will be fine. No problem there. All this was covered up. I mean, I don't know. Some of these bells don't look great. So what I'm going to do is just trim them down to the base and let them come back up. And I think that'll be all right. My goal is just for, the roots to be good. So hopefully those are all right. Here's the mystery bulb. I left that uncovered. I knew that was going to freeze and not do well. So we'll just cut all those back as well. Let's go back over here. Okay, let's see. All of the parsley got frozen, so it's not doing great. Hypericum's just fine. It did fine. All of the lantana is gone after the freeze. Same thing over here. And same thing with the hollyhocks in the corner. Oh, I have all this status over here. I wonder how it did. I mean, some of it froze, but I think maybe the roots are still fine, which is great. Okay, so let's go check out the front and side yard. Okay, so over here on the front yard, everything over here did really well. Did have some coneflower, which bit the dust, but I mean, that's expected. It's already got new growth down there. I mean, I knew that those would go. I will say my planters did not do very well that are under here. I put them under here for safekeeping, and they did not do great. However, the ones that were out did pretty good, so kind of random. The Diamond Frost Euphorbia did not make it, so that's sad, even after I wrapped it all up. So anyway, we'll trim that back and get that all cleaned up. Go back over here. So the planters don't look amazing. We definitely had some frost damage or some freeze damage. Some of these don't look great. So I'm just going to see what happens with them. We have a couple more freezes this week. Hopefully they won't end up being ruined, but I don't know. Stalk looks pretty good, held up well. This kale did well. All of the hellebore are looking good, even the new one. It's looking really nice. All the Elysium, I'm glad I covered it up. Elysium, it's all coming up, looks all real good. Everything over here looks all right. I will say I feel like my cabbage don't look as great. There's definitely like some damage on this portion. So I don't know if those are going to turn to mush and the center is going to keep going. I'm not sure, but I'll have to keep an eye on those. Let's go around the side. All the lantana is green yesterday, is all brown. We expected that. The butterfly bush is done. I usually cut my butterfly bush to the ground because I don't like it to be giant in this area. All the wheat is done. Scabiosa did great. It's a great hardy annual. This took out the rest of my lamb's ear, which is fine. So we're going to go in and clean all this up, pull all that out. Rest of the Mexican heather is done. Snapdragons don't look great over here, but I'm not stressed about that, y'all. Once again, on the snapdragons, I'm more worried about the base of the plant. So the deal is we'll cut everything down to the base once we get through this most recent cold snap, and hopefully the roots are well established and the plant will continue to come back. Going back over here, most of the seedlings did all right. I did have a few in a few places that don't look great, which is a little random. Foxglove did good. Status did well. Asters did good. Over here, some of the straw flower doesn't look as great, but you see down low, it looks okay. It's just the top parts. So we'll just let these go for now. And maybe they'll act as a little bit of insulation for the roots. But it has some damage, but not much. And I covered these. So imagine if I hadn't covered these, what that might end up looking like. So yeah, that's interesting. All of the daisies are gone. Yeah, this is what I expected. Rosemary did fine. This rosemary is so hardy. All of the yarrow looks good over here. I'm really looking forward to this yarrow patch this next year. I mean, look at all this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants, and they're spreading. I would love this whole thing to be filled with yarrow. And then I left my smoke bush uncovered, which is fine, and my oak leaf hydrangea uncovered, which is fine too. Okay, so there's the tour of the garden after the frost. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed. So here in North Texas last February, we had some crazy weather that lasted a lot of days and was negative temps and piles of snow and a lot. And I covered up my garden, like totally covered my garden. And I had really good luck. Most of the stuff made it. And it didn't for this. So I don't know. I saw a lot of other gardeners online talking about the wind was just insane, dropping the temperatures crazy low. And, you know, I covered everything that I thought needed to be covered. And then I left, you know, things like some of my winter annuals, like my pansies and violas and the cabbage and kale out, thinking, oh, they'll be fine. They're mushy. So I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is pick and choose about the things that I want to really pay attention to during this winter season. I can't cover my garden every time it gets cold, you know, out here, and I don't have the time or the patience to do that. So I'm gonna have to pick and choose. I'm gonna focus mainly on my hardy annuals, my snapdragons, my status, my asters, foxgloves, all that, and really focus on those and make sure those are taken care of. And then I'm probably just gonna let everything else go to the wayside at this point. So yeah. So I hope you fared better if you're in the North Texas area. Give me a comment below. Let me know how you did, how your stuff did. I hope it did better than mine. But I am glad I put together this video for you guys so you could see the difference from, you know, before freeze and after the freeze, and see the difference in the garden and what that kind of temperature drop does. I think the biggest issue might have been that there was a 50-degree drop. So it's not like my plants had, you know, been building tolerance. They hadn't. They went from in the 70s to in the 20s, and with a wind chill in the single digits. So that's a big change for all of our plants out here to be in less than 1 day. It's a lot. So anyway, as always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.